Okay, and welcome to another edition of Dead Ends. So tonight, guys, is a very, very interesting flashcast. So this one this evening is all about the paranormal investigation versus the government answer / reply to one of the brave Facebook members' petitions that she decided to send to the government. Now, it's really important tonight that we don't go over why she decided to do that, because that part isn't really important. I think we all get that part. The part that we're more interested in, I have to say, is the reply from the government in regards to paranormal investigations. So tonight isn't based on anybody in particular. This is about all of us as a field, as an entity, as a paranormal community, or whatever you call it. I can't get my words out today. Anyway, I'm going to pass you over to the peers of the paranormal, and that is my beautiful CJ. How are you this evening, my darling?
A lot better than yesterday, I can assure you. Can I just quickly like to thank all the comments that were put up yesterday. I have been poorly. Still am, really. I can't wait for the podcast to be done to go back to bed, to be quite honest, because I am absolutely drained. But thank you so much for all the goodwill that you've put out there, and those who have wishing me well. And I see a couple tonight in the chat. But cutting all that now and keep all that to one side, straight in, I want to emphasize what Kelly has just said. This is not against anyone tonight. This is generalized. I think it's something that needs to be discussed. We're going to give you guys, the Dead Enders, and anybody that wants to come in to have a chat if they've got a point. Please remember that when you're doing your comments, be respectful, and it's your comment. We take no responsibility for what is said in the chat room. We can't control it. Our mods are in the house. They will monitor. If you want to come on and talk about this, come on and talk about it. We'd love to hear your views. Personally, myself, I think it says an awful lot. And since it's coming from the government, it's stating that paranormal investigations are not exempt from the COVID rules. So, we all know that we have seen a lot of people going out doing investigations. And at the end of the day, there it is in black and white. There's no little silver ticket. There's no golden ticket from Willy Wonka in number 10 to say you can go out and do whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, it says it's not exempt. So that means you can get fined if you go out. It does clear up a little bit, even though the petition was rejected. That little bit at the bottom says everything, absolutely everything. So it'd be nice to have your views, see what you think. And I can see the Willy Wonkas already going in the tickets. Hiya, Steve. So, let's get it going. Is there anybody that wants to actually come on, talk to us, and see what your views are? Don't be frightened. You can come and sit in. Shell's here. She'll let us know if anybody comes into the green room. But my personal view is, it backs up what we've been saying, what everybody has been saying on Facebook. It's there. It's in black and white, Kelly. And it's from the gov.com. So it is coming from the government. You cannot go outside. And I don't care if people say, but it's my job. I'm not interested. At the end of the day, it clearly states you shouldn't. I mean, I know hairdressers. They can work from home, but they can't have people come to their home. They've got businesses, and yet they're not going out cutting people's hair, if that makes sense. You've got to look at it this way. There is businesses going under because they are sticking to the COVID regulations, and yet some just do seem to want to go ahead and do whatever they want. At the end of the day, it's down to people what your views are, and that's what we wanted to see. We want to hear your views tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So there's a really interesting question that's gone in. Have you noticed, though, from Steve Lilly, that some of these teams are still going out, have changed their business names to include broadcasting so they can utilize the loophole? It's quite funny, actually, that you say that, because as always, we do a little bit of research, don't we, CJ? Because we can kind of preempt some of the questions that are going to come up, unless, you know, it's things like, what shall I have for dinner tonight? Then Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. So, yeah, we kind of preempted that. So what we've done is we've gone and had a look for a little bit of information around, you know, the correct way to risk assess coronavirus. So risk assess yourself, your business, whilst you're out. So I'll just screen share a little bit of what I found. So, I mean, there's so many pages to it. So it's under TV productions guidance, managing the risk of coronavirus. So please go and have a look for yourself. Actually, I'll copy the link and I'll pop it in the chat. So if you look at it, it's really quite broad, actually, and it covers quite a lot. And I think a bunch of TV companies got together. So as you can see, ITV, BBC, Sky, Channel 4, loads of companies all got together and have actually produced almost a risk assessment guidance. So again, it's only guidance. But what we have noticed, and I don't know whether you guys in the chat room will agree, is that when we are watching teams that go out, regardless of whether they are businesses that come under TV, broadcasting, blah, 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 we're not seeing any face masks, are we, CJ? No. We're not seeing any hand sanitizing going on.
No gloves.
No, and we're certainly not seeing any assessment, sort of risk assessment of the amount of people that you're cramming into one room. There's quite a lot of teams out there that are still going out. You see them all over Facebook. They're popping up over YouTube everywhere. And what you're seeing is there's no face masks. There's no glove wearing, especially with the ones that are sharing their equipment all the time. When you're putting your cat balls down on the floor, someone else is picking them up and blah, blah. Those holding the camera to video the live, I'm not noticing after 20 minutes, you know, that they're hand sanitizing or anything like that. Usually going on for about an hour and a half. No hand sanitizing going on there. I don't know. I guess we'll open that up to the chat room. What do you guys see?
Kelly, I think there are teams that have been wearing face masks, but there's only a handful of them that I've seen, one or two. I think there's some comments in the chat room as well that have said that they've seen some teams. It's not every team, but at the end of the day, it is imperative that you do wear your face mask and that you wear, even if it's throwaway gloves. I mean, you're protecting yourself. You don't want to catch this virus. I had two brothers that were seriously ill in hospital. I thought we were going to lose them. It was that close. Luckily, a miracle happened and they survived and they come through it. But they're affected now to this day over it. You don't want to catch this. And I think really the message we want to put out there, that no, we can't stop you going out. We're just saying to you, at the end of the day, if you're going to do it, let's see some masks.
Let's see some sensibility.
Yes.
You know, why can't we be sensible about this? You know, exactly. All right, nobody can stop you from going out. Only the police can send you home. Okay. Yeah. But where's your sensibility? That's what we're saying. You know, where's your sensibility?
But I do think the police need to take a little bit of responsibility here, and local councils as well, because I think a lot of people have, have stated they've gone to the council or they've got this authority or the police have said, yeah, they're fine to do it. I think a lot of people are actually read into things differently. This is why I go back to this petition. It's come from the government. It's been quite specific. It's saying investigations are not exempt. So if you're saying that you're still going out and you're doing an investigation, it doesn't matter. It's not exempt from COVID.
No,
so
that's
you
right.
shouldn't be going out at the end of the day. We can't enforce it. We can just make people aware of it. But I think now you can go, and the police should have better guidance. The authorities should have better guidance. The government should be a lot more clearer on what they're saying. And we all know they've cocked up quite a bit. They've made mistakes. But at the end of the day, it's an unrecognised field. So as far as they're concerned, they're not bothered with it.
Yeah.
But that one little statement has said an awful lot. Yeah.
And Stephen Lee makes a good point here. Equipment sharing. Absolutely, 100%. And this is what we're saying. We're not in any way saying, please don't go out and please don't investigate. I mean, that's entirely your choice to do that. I personally haven't. But then I want to keep everybody safe and everything like that. Those that go out by themselves, I mean, that's brilliant. You're out by yourself, in all fairness. So for me, you're not hurting anybody. If you're going out and you're a couple, again, I don't really have much of an issue with that, to be quite honest. I don't know about you, CJ, but I really don't. You live together anyway, so fantastic.
If you're in your family bubble and it's just two of you going out, or if you're on your own, to be quite honest, I'm not bothered. It's when you're going out with a load of people and you go into a location and basically, is having that respect for that location. If somebody comes in after you, then at the end of the day, are you passing that COVID onto them? You don't know. And what does it say about the stay local? Some people I have noticed have traveled quite a distance. Now, I don't agree with that.
No.
Stay local means stay local. I can't even leave Ruddy, Wales, Gwent, for crying out loud.
Absolutely.
And it's killing me. And they're on about changing it tonight. What to, we don't know.
No.
But they're saying they're letting us go out and travel, but they may not be allowing you English guys to come in. Sorry.
English guys, come on. You live in England.
Come on. Wales. Sorry, just having a little bit of fun there. But at the end of the day, that's what they're saying. If you live in England, you might not be able to come into Wales.
No, this is very true. This is very true.
It's daft. It's crazy. And it has been stated as well, coming up to Halloween. The police in Wales are, I've got to be quite honest, they've been shit on when it comes down to it. They've fined quite a lot of teams. They've caught them, they've turned them around, they've taken vehicles off them and made them walk home. And now I hear, in fact, there was a team just up the road. I don't know, I can't remember who they were called, down in Cymran. They got caught miles and miles and miles away. They took the vehicle off them and made them travel home themselves. They didn't care how they got home. They got fined. You go home. You've done that. But now they've released the Denby Asylum that coming up to Halloween. They're now going to put an exclusion zone around Denby Asylum, around Halloween, because they're anticipating people are going to try and go there to do ghost hunts so that they can go in there and actually remove these people. So at the end of the day, quite chuffed with the Welsh police. I just think that, it comes down to the individual forces. And somebody's put up, it's a lot of paperwork, isn't it? And really some of them just can't be bothered.
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, Donna Perrin makes a good point here. If you go in a shop, hospital, doctors, chemists, supermarket, you have to wear masks. So why shouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Some do.
Totally agree.
But the majority that I've seen don't.
And what about insurance? Somebody made a remark in there about insurance. I'm sure I've seen something about insurance.
Yeah, somebody did pop on.
How is the insurance covering this with people going out? That's another angle we haven't touched upon yet. Are they going to be insured?
Well, I think that's another point, but we have to remember that the public liability insurance isn't there to cover us. It's there to cover members of the public. So if you're hiring a venue, if you break anything inside that venue, that's what your public liability insurance covers. If you run an event and one of your public gets hurt, that's what your public liability insurance covers. It doesn't cover you.
No.
Per se, when you go out, your public liability insurance is there to cover the venue and to cover the people you're taking with you, i.e. paying customers.
Mm. Well,
very,
what do you guys think in the chat room? A lot of vocal. Is anybody going to come on and talk about it? You know, anybody's got any comments that they want to put in, feel free to come on. Whether you're for it, against it, it doesn't matter. We're not going to bite. I can assure you on that. We've proved that so many times in the past.
So Rachel Croman put, funny, my partner got stopped by the police in Merseyside asking where he's been, etc., as he was coming home from work. He's a welder and makes stuff for the NHS, and was questioned why don't get this disrespectful paranormal teams get the same. It's wrong. So what she's saying is she doesn't understand why paranormal teams aren't caught. I think from some of the videos I watch, a lot of them see a police officer and they kind of tuck themselves behind a bush and hope they're not going to get caught, or they'll wait till the police car's moved on.
Or hide,
to be fair.
But you know, that guy's working, you know, and not only that, one thing, I mean, I've got to jump in and I've got to say it as I see it, to be quite honest with you, because I don't really give a shit anymore, to be quite honest with you. At the end of the day, you know, it's not essential work, and I don't care what anybody says. Paranormal investigations are hobbies. It's you know, it's not essential. That guy, he's working, he's producing stuff for the NHS. That's essential as far as I'm concerned. You know, even if you're delivering food to people that can't get out, that's essential. You know, in the hospital, it's essential. Paranormal investigations is not essential. And I know there's going to be people out there who's going to say, oh, yeah, it is. It's my job and all this sort of stuff. Bullshit. Come on. If it's your job, right, show me your tax. Show me your national insurance. Come on, if you really want to go there. And I bet you none of them will. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's not an essential to go out there and to do it. I'm sorry. I just don't take that. That's my own personal opinion and view.
I guess I'm with you on that as well, because when have we ever seen anybody say, this is my proof that I can go out and do it? I mean, if I had it, I'd be showing that to the bloody world. Yeah, look at me, I can go out.
Well, it also, because, you know, I'm not being funny, I've done a few shows myself in the past. But I have done a few, and I've spoken to a lot of these production companies. And to be quite honest with you, I have to ask the question: do you have to have some sort of license to do what they do? And can you classify going out and doing Facebook lives, YouTube lives, TikToks now, and whatever you do on Instagram, can that be counted as being doing outside broadcasting? That's another avenue that I don't understand, because if that is the case, every one of you that's in that chat room, every one of you that's out in Facebook land, you're all production companies. If you've got a YouTube, if you've got a TikTok and you're putting videos up, am I right or wrong?
Well, yeah, I can see where you're going with that.
So
absolutely.
I think, you know, I do think, really, genuinely, I think these big broadcasting companies that go out and do these shows, I think they do have to have some sort of, let's not say it's a permit, but it's some sort of license to do it. And I don't think these others haven't. I don't know. So, you know, I'm asking the question. If anybody out there knows, then please, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll be the first to go and say I'm wrong, you know, but I don't know. So I'm posing that question.
So we've got someone who'd like to come on. We've got Kevin. So Kevin, I'm going to bring you on. 3, 2, 1. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hi, Kevin.
How you doing, guys? What I was just going to say is, now, I'm not part of any large team. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this. I'm not part of any large teams or anything. I'm a team of one, Longford Paranormal Investigation, and I've been out with a lot of teams in Ireland. But what I will say is, we have a mother and a father-in-law we haven't seen in over a year because of the lockdown status. We also have a situation where from a past relationship, I've got a daughter and a son whose mother is permanently in care because she had a brain aneurysm that I can't go down to see. And one is 14 and one is 13.
Yeah.
I've got covered by Westminster for paranormal investigating, but the way I look at it is for any insurance policy that's underwritten, if you are in a situation where it is viewed that you're breaking any form of law, that cover is rendered invalid.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So basically, supposing there's a 5-mile limit that you're allowed travel within, and you go outside that limit, and you're doing your investigation, and just say the police happen to show up, see a light or whatever, come in and question you, you don't have cover for that.
No.
Because the simple fact is, you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
With many groups on Facebook, there's group share days on Monday. Yeah. I've gotten to the point where I allow people sharing the groups in my group, but I haven't tried sharing my group anywhere because I've nothing to put in it. Because I haven't been going anywhere, I haven't been doing anything. I've got equipment I've bought. I've got a thermal camera that cost me the best part of 600 quid. I've got a field meter that I saved for that I've never used either. And they're sitting there right in front of me.
That's a dedicated investigator. Equipment in front, ready to go.
I've only been going for 2 years. I've got 900 people following me in a group that don't get any updates, except for when I put dead ends up or something, the live stream. I share that. But you've got these teams that are going out, and their attitude, for a start, that I found is disgusting because I've been watching a lot of them. And if anybody says anything at all in regards to them self-isolating or wearing masks, if you watch the comments, the people that follow those teams will literally dive on them like sharks. And, the fact is they don't have the cover, and they know they don't have the cover, and that is why they get snotty, because a person doesn't need to get defensive if they're in the right.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what I said. Like, we've had a conference call between the children's grandparents. And, my wife is the only child in that family. And so obviously our 2 kids are their only 2 grandchildren. And I've seen her mother and father in floods of tears, a grown man in tears, because they couldn't come down and see the kids. And then I'm not trying to put down paranormal investigation. I absolutely love paranormal investigation. But if something as important as that, where you've got 2 grandparents that can't see their own grandchildren, who has the right to go out investigating during the pandemic?
Kev, just to say, I've just noticed a comment from Tracy Day, and it goes back to the insurance side of it. It says, I've spoken to my insurance company too, and yes, they have stated being out whilst in lockdown, travelling makes insurance void. So they got no cover if they're going out.
No, I'm on my 3rd year of my paranormal insurance, the liability cover, and I used to work as a coordinator for different policies myself. And the one thing that used to shoot people in the foot, if they were going anywhere, supposing you were driving a car and you were in a serious traffic accident, if you were driving under the influence of alcohol, then you were not covered for that to be driving that vehicle. So therefore, you were liable for all the damages incurred between the impact of you and that other person's vehicle. Liability insurance in regards to anything getting damaged or broken at a location, as you know, a place that you're going in to investigate can insist for liability over 6 million, which kicks me in the foot a lot of time. But I get away with it. Luckily, that I get covered from a lot of the teams that will invite me out on the investigation, who have the larger cover because they have more members to contribute to the insurance. But just imagine going on a location and something happening, a historical location, such a thing like a fire, right? and you've got all those damages, and there's no way they can get that insurance back because they can't claim on your policy.
No.
So they're going to be relying on wherever charity, which it normally is a charity or state funded, try and repair a historical monument.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the way you've got to look at that. And that's aside from the fact that, you know, this is a very aggressive virus that's going around. It's something that is hit and miss whether you live or die. Let's just call it ace and ace. Plenty of people have went to hospital, have died alone, not able to have even the comfort of their family around their deathbed.
No.
You know, and people are being asked to do one thing. They're being asked to stay at home. They're being asked to observe hygiene, you know, keep their hands with the cleansers, wear face masks when they have to go out. I go out once a week on a Friday, which is to go shopping. You know, luckily now, I'll be honest, I've got a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox to keep me busy.
So, fellow gamer then.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to say now, in all fairness. You know, if we're going any further on, I'll just be blathering.
And well, I just want to bring up a point. You put up a guy named Alan, and he mentioned something about there is a license that you need for broadcasting.
It's called a broadcasting license.
It's called a broadcasting license. So if it's a team and you're going out and you're saying it's essential, oh, thank you, Kev, as well. You know, at the end of the day, shouldn't you have one of these? And is it the fact that it costs money to get and you might have to jump through hoops and fire to get them? I don't know. Is there anybody else in the chat room that wants to maybe come on and perhaps put a point of view across?
Oh, let's have a look.
Is there anyone there?
Graham Hodge has put, many people have lost their life and more are likely to die from this pandemic. It should not be a question of do they have the right to go on paranormal investigations. It should be a question of is it morally and ethically correct to do so. We are dealing with people's lives here. A paranormal investigation should not be put above that. And we agree. I agree.
To be quite honest, you should, how can you not agree with that statement, to be quite honest with you? Yeah. How could you not agree with that statement? You are putting people's lives at risk. Let's be quite honest. And at the end of the day, you know, this is a hobby. I mean, I started it. I take it serious. I know Kelly takes it serious. I run my own team. And, you know, I'm also skeptical. But at the end of the day, it's absolutely, hi Liz, it's absolutely, you know, it's still a hobby to me, if that makes sense.
100%. So, how are you getting on, Liz? You all right? What, you want to say something?
Yeah, I've sat reading the chat and my piss is boiling.
Oh, right.
So I just want to add my two penneth, really. As me, not obviously as Dead Ends, I volunteer for the RSPCA and I foster cats and rehome them. And throughout this, we've been given special permission from DEFRA to actually transport animals. And what we usually do is we do a home visit and check the house out and the people who want to home the animals. They come round and visit the animals and then they pick them up and take them home. Throughout the COVID situation, we've not been able to do any of that. What we've had to do is do video chats and video tours of the house and kind of a video of them meeting the animals. And then I've had to put the animals in a carrier and literally drop them at the front door, having wiped the carriers down and everything, leave them on the front doorstep, sit back in my car, ring the people up and say, your new cat is on your front doorstep. And from a welfare point of view, it's hard on the animals because usually I'm there to go into their new home with them and get them settled. We've not been able to do that. So if something as important as animal welfare has to go by the wayside, then what gives people the right to think that they're essential enough that they can go out with their team just to do a Facebook Live? The other thing is, I have a letter to say I am given special permission by DEFRA to travel no more than an hour away from my home to drop the animals to their new homes and then go straight home again.
Yeah.
Even vets visits, they stopped neutering at one point. We couldn't take any animals to the vets. And even now, it's literally the same. We're dropping at the front door, the vets come and collect them, do what they need to do, and bring them out to us again.
Yeah.
It's just... We're doing it properly because we have to. So what gives people the right to do their hobbies because they feel like they're exempt?
I think a lot of it's to do with views and probably their subscribers, stuff like that, because many groups now have people that subscribe. Let's be quite honest, there is money being made. You can see that that's going on. They have to do something, but I again relinquish it back to the fact that, you know, to the hairdresser scenario, you know, they've not been, thank God, they touch wood, they are all coming out now. Lockdown is easing somewhat. I think it's different in Wales than what it's like in England. And I do think our lockdowns and local lockdowns have been a lot better, to be quite honest. I don't like the Welsh Assembly. I don't agree with the Welsh Assembly. But I've got to state on this, I think they did do the right thing. And our numbers are starting to come down a bit, and it's managed a lot better. But again, it's different. This should be all done for the whole of the United Kingdom. I mean, that's what Great Britain is. United Kingdom. Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland. It's United. You know? Oh, I'm going to start on with the EU in a minute, so I'm going to shut up on that.
Right.
To be quite honest.
We've got Von waiting to come on, so I'm going to bring Von on. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Von.
Hello, Von.
Hi, Von.
Hello. Have I managed it this time?
Yay.
You've done it this time, yay!
I'm just going to come on quickly to say yes, it's really boiling my piss listening to this conversation because, firstly, I've got a small team myself. We've not been out at all. Basically, morally, but I work for the NHS. I trained to give the vaccinations. I started giving the vaccinations for one day. But even I, because I'm clinically vulnerable, had to stop giving the vaccinations because I was classed as unsafe being among people. Even though there was every risk assessment done, everything. There is people dying out there, and I just think these teams are an absolute joke.
I mean, my middle child goes to secondary school, and I don't know whether anybody else in the chat room or here tonight has the same, but he comes home with 3 testing kits a week. So he has to self-test Monday, Wednesday and a Sunday, and when we have to report the outcome to the government. So I think if a 15-year-old, you know, has to take tests in order to continue going to school and keeping everybody safe, then, you know, why are those that are going out, you know, why are some of those not doing that, not looking after themselves, not looking after the general public? And I think a valid point, Von, was made earlier, and that is, it's not just about the investigation part, it's the going to the petrol station, going to the shops to get your drinks, you know, so all these things that you're going to inadvertently touch prior to actually getting to the investigation point. I mean,
but also some of those members are clinically vulnerable. If I am not allowed to go into a risk assessed area by the infection control, by the NHS, how come someone can go out doing what they're doing when I can't even give NHS injections in the clinically controlled environment because of who I could be in contact with and easily spread the disease to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that comes down to the point of why, although it was a failed petition, the fact that the response that was got from that failed petition has put this out here now, because there is people that, you know, will sit up and see that. And it is something that has come from the government. It's the real first thing that I've seen from the government actually addressing about paranormal. Now, for whatever reason, it states it's not exempt. So why are people doing it? But, you know...
I'd like to just kind of defend the police in a way as well, because they haven't got the manpower to go around and check everybody who's outside. Yes, in first lockdown, I know round by me there were roadblocks around by me and they were stopping everybody. But normal crime hasn't stopped. So the police are understaffed anyway. So they've got to carry on doing what they were doing with fewer police officers. So where are they going to just open another couple of boxes of police officers to stop the morons who are going out and ignoring lockdown?
Yeah, and not only that, doing the protesting as well and the violence sort of thing, because that could be done without.
Yeah,
you know,
and for the NHS as well, because they've got less staff to deal with it all. That's why everybody's having vaccinations to basically protect the NHS from crashing.
Well, Justin Whitchurch makes a really good point here. He said he was watching a live last night and someone commented about one of the team was tested for COVID, which came back positive, but okay, 2 days later. And when someone in the chat questioned why they was out with the team, they got booted out and barred from the chat.
Because that probably team does not want to be exposed about it. This is the problem. When you address things like this, you get called either a bully, a troll, or you get absolutely murdered by groups of followers. It's absolute an outrage, to be quite honest. The thing is, I got big shoulders. Kelly's got big shoulders. We don't care. Neither does Liz. Neither does our Shell. To be quite honest, bring it on. Because if that's what you've got to say to people when they bring up valid points, instead of letting them have their say, then do you know what? You deserve one another. As far as I'm concerned.
I mean, there was a group last night.
Valid points, instead of letting them have their say, then do you know what?
Who's got their Facebook on? I mean, there was a group last night. It might be yours, Vaughn. I'll drop you out for a moment. All right, darling.
No, that's fine.
Thanks for coming on.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
But there was a group last night that went out investigating, which again, a couple, so I don't really have an issue if it's just two people, but just advertised special guest, celebrity guest, and I'm thinking, what? We're in COVID. You're not supposed to be meeting anybody yet. So what gives you the goddamn right, regardless of whether you're a broadcast this, a film that, what gives you the right? And then I watched a piece of it and there they are all in one room, all together. Like literally could have just done that and put their hand on the other person's shoulder. I mean, seriously, do we have to continue in lockdown? The government have just said today, that they've given the PM permission to put us into lockdown again in a 6-month period if we need to go back in. When's it going to end? I'm not saying it's paranormal investigators that are causing the problem. That's not what I'm saying. But we are adding to it. Yeah,
exactly. I totally agree. And I'll tell you something now. I've just got this horrible feeling that those who have stayed in, those who have complied, whatever, is all going to be for nothing. Because I reckon in the next 2, 3, possibly 4 months, we're going to get hit with a third wave. Seriously. Because of what's coming over to Europe. Yeah, exactly. And then we're all back Are they going to go back out doing it then in a third wave? Because believe it or not, I tell you what, if that happens, I think I would go out on a rampage personally myself. And I don't advocate violence, but I would go on a rampage on that, seeing people going out through a third wave. But that's what I think is going to happen.
It's giving people well, I've just seen them on Facebook Live and nobody did anything about it, so why shouldn't I go out? It's making people have the attitude of, oh, well, I've sat at home long enough by myself. I'm seeing so many people out and about doing what they want, so why shouldn't I?
I mean, you just wait. You've got bank holiday weekend next weekend. You just wait. There'll be barbecues galore. Everybody in each other's houses using the toilet, regardless of whether they're all supposed to be in the garden. You can just see it coming. You can see a wave coming again. But it's going to take about 4 weeks for us to see it. So the knock-on effect isn't going to happen straight away.
I don't know what the outcome was because I didn't see it tonight. But the First Minister here in Wales they were talking about opening up the beaches, some areas, holiday parks. I don't know whether they have or not. But, on the news, what I did see was the people in them areas shitting themselves, saying, yeah, we need it. But like what happened before, we're shitting ourselves over it. The people's going to go ass tearing down. And I think that's where it comes down, where they're saying that maybe people in Wales can go and do that, but not if you're over the border. But there again comes back to what Liz says. How do you police that? How do you stop? You're going to put barriers across the bridge?
Hey guys, somebody's just made a good point here. If they're Paula, if they're running a business and pay tax, etc., why can't they get furlough and grants from the government?
Yep.
We did ask this, I think, a long time ago, and I think the reply was that they couldn't get any help from the government or something like that. I think you have to earn under a certain amount or something before you get any help from the government, or you need to have a business that's been going on for so long.
Can I just say, they've got permission, these teams, right? Who's given them permission? Who has said, yeah, you can go out? Who?
Well, this is what we were saying earlier. I mean, if I had a piece of paper that said you can go out, I'd be, and I'd have to defend myself. I'd be showing everybody what my piece of paper or my plastic card or whatever said. Of course you would.
You'd display it. You'd be like,
because I would feel mortified if anybody thought I was breaking any type of rules set by the government, by my morals, by my ethics. I'd be mortified of myself.
Precisely. Makes me
adding one point to this, I have heard a number of teams mention that they've got permission from Trade and Standards.
Well, that's funny because
why would they get permission from Trade and Standards?
I find that really funny because I've sent many
why would
emails
Trade and Standards get involved?
Well, I've sent many emails to Trade and Standards, and the replies I get are, go to the government website and look up coronavirus guidelines. That's all I ever get. That's all I ever get.
I contacted the police, remember?
Mm-hmm.
I contacted the police and they said, look at the government.
Yeah, that's all they do. They just passing you over. And yes, as for the police, I mean, I personally wouldn't call the police on anybody who was investigating somewhere, because I think those poor sods are going to have to go down there, touch those people who haven't social distanced, probably haven't even had a test, probably haven't got an ounce of hand sanitizer on them. I wouldn't want to waste the police time when they can be out there saving somebody from a robbery or something like that. But then that's just me. That's not me saying what they're doing is wrong. I just think it's better use of police time to send them to an actual real emergency.
Well, it's like Denise Davis says, no one's actually shown us any evidence of any permission.
Mm-hmm.
No, they haven't. She's right. She's totally and absolutely right.
Yeah.
I have not seen any permission.
No, we have. No, absolutely. So I do kind of wonder where this whole permission thing has stemmed from. I really don't know, because I can't find anything about it. And I've spoke to Trading Standards, Citizens Advice, Wiltshire Police, and I get passed from pillar to post, and it always ends up going back to government guidelines.
Well, I'm going to put up a challenge, simple as, and it's simple to put out there and say, if there is a team out there that has got this, let's just say the golden ticket, right, which allows them to go out there and do it, can you just send us a copy of it so we can see it? Because then we'll come on and say, hey guys, we're wrong. Use the proof.
Yeah, there is proof out there.
There is proof out there. But we've not seen it, and I don't think anybody else has, which concerns me.
And they can even block out half of it, so it's not like we can take a photograph and print our own out.
Yeah, exactly.
Block out half of it and just have the... Well, no, but just in case that's what they're worried about, just so that we can say...
And also, I think what's quite telling here as well, we'll go way back. I don't know if you remember seeing the Facebook footage of John Tanner when he went out with Swindon Urbex Explorers. And they were live saying that police had turned up, and John and his mate were plodding on down the street talking about how the urban explorers have all been fined, and that he wasn't fined because he was a paranormal investigator. Well, I'm pretty sure urban explorers use YouTube and Facebook Lives to earn money. So this is where my mind just completely boggles. It really is.
Hold on. John Harris has just said he'll be happily send copies of his documents. Okay, John.
Oh, well, don't send us any. Please don't send us any addresses. Scrub all those out, please.
Let's make it clear.
Don't include your address. Cover that all up. Just send
please.
If you're going to send any information, just please make sure that you block out your address, your telephone number, anything identifying. We are not interested in that.
Don't want to get accused of sharing.
It's information for us, and if it shows that we're wrong, we're going to say we're wrong. At the end of the day, this actually says that. So and again, I'm going to say it, John. Kudos for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you know what I mean? That's it. All right. Really appreciate that. I really
that would be great, because I haven't seen anything to say that yes, this person can go out. I mean, it's not going to say this person can go out and paranormal investigate. That's probably not what it's going to say. But just to have something that says, people can go out and do this type of work would be fantastic. I mean, if Liz has to carry documents with her to show police that she's travelling on behalf of, an animal charity, surely the same applies to anyone. I mean, I know when lockdown first started, and I still got it in my car, I have a document from my employer in case I'm stopped by the police, so I can say, no, this is who I work for, and it's on headed note paper. It's got the company telephone number, which is a 24-hour line, so the police can ring it, and somebody's there to pick up and confirm I am who I say I am. So, it is really, really crazy, absolutely crazy that we don't have this. This nobody's been able to say, who it's come from, where it's come from.
I mean, I still refer back to this government, this form, this petition where it says it's not exempt. And when you put not exempt from COVID, if you're going out and you're doing investigations, and I think it's a knock-on effect as well for paranormal, TV programs, it may be. I don't understand. Does that apply to them as well? Because let's not forget, these production companies go out doing these paranormal investigations as well. The word here is investigation, and that's what it says in there, that it's not exempt. So there's a big wide... This is why it'd be interesting to hear all different aspects of it.
When you're looking at someone like Ghost Adventurers, they're not Ghost Adventurers. They don't go out by themselves. They have a TV company that pays their their way, and they're the people that give them all the grants and the permissions that they need to be where they need to be, you know. Whereas what we have majority of the time with these smaller paranormal investigation teams don't have people like that cover them. They cover themselves. So, you know, I found it extremely difficult to speak to anybody regarding a permit to be able to go out ghost hunting. And that's not because I wanted to go out ghost hunting. I just wanted to find how you get this permit. And the blocked wall that you get every single time. And they send you over to the government guidance. And I'm sorry, but in this field, that's such a grey area.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, it's a massive grey area.
I mean, come on.
Bloody hole.
So common sense prevails, right? We all know that. Yeah, common sense prevails. So just because it doesn't say paranormal investigations are exempt, you know, a lot of people see that and say, well, that's a grey area. Do you know what I mean? It's so weird. And we were talking, weren't we, guys, that this is the first time that we have ever seen anything that states paranormal investigations are not exempt from COVID restrictions.
Yeah. And it goes on to say, doesn't it? It's a government. People conducting paranormal investigations should take this into consideration. The existing government guidelines, or they could be subject to to a fine. And it's directed you again back to the national government. So when you think about it, the government is just to blame for not making it very, very clear, and it should be made clear. This is the whole point of this show. This is the very first time we have seen something in writing from a government department that says no, you can't. So again, this is why the show's gone ahead. It's opening up a big, massive, wide world. And the question, and you know, tonight we've come across about 3 or 4 questions which you need answers to, and you're not going to get them. You know, everybody's going to have their own opinion on it. Everybody's going to have their own view, and that's absolutely perfect. But you can't take it away from what is written in black and white. I mean, can you take that? Could you take that and show that to the police and say, well, hang on, this is what the government has said? What would the police say to that?
I think the problem that we haven't had anything specific mentioning paranormal investigations before, simply because there are so many different ins and outs. The government couldn't go through the list of everything to say, you can't go walking with your mother-in-law, you can't go and visit this place here, you can't go and put flowers on the grave. They couldn't lay everything out black and white.
No.
So I think this is why this is the first time we've had anything specifically mention paranormal investigations.
Yeah. And actually, Justin Proud has just put up a classic that, Justin, that, if they're a registered film company, then they need to be a member of Equity, is it? British Actors Association. It is illegal to work or film on stage without any equity card. I know this because her dad is a television actor. Oh, I wonder who that would be. And my twin brother is choreographer for the director of musical theatre. And, you know, just touching on musical theatres, all them poor buggers there that have had to work because they can't get in. It's like, my God, what's going on? But that is a valid point. That is a valid point.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
We haven't.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had anybody else coming on, so that's. I think everybody's probably had enough now.
Yeah, exactly. So.
But guys, listen. We'll happily do a quick sort of on one of our flashcasts. If we do get that information from Mr. John Harris, then obviously we'll take a good look at it first, make sure there's nothing in there that it is personal to John and his team, and then obviously we'll be able to share that with you guys so that you can see.
And it would be seen appreciative for that because he's the only one that's come forward. To be quite honest, in all fairness, he has been the only one that's come forward, and that's why I said kudos.
Kudos, absolutely. Yeah. Good. Okay, so thanks ever so much to everybody in the comments section today. I think on the whole, we've all had our say, whether it be in comments or whether it be here tonight live. You guys have, as always, been absolutely bloody fabulous. Thank you ever so much for watching us this evening. Thank you to our mods once again. Amazing. Thank you, Shell. Thank you, Liz. And if you guys need us for anything, you want us to look into anything, something is boiling your piss, then you know where to come, and that's to the Piers Morgan of the Paranormal, and apparently the Susanna Reid. Yes, Liz.
Cal, before we go, there's a lady, Justine Proud. She wanted us to read her comment.
We've just done that.
We've just done that.
A registered film company.
Yeah.
Oh, you've just
we've just done that. Yeah,
cool.
we've just done that.
That's it then.
Okay, so thank you so much.
She just asked.
Take care, guys. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.